how do you manage your savings, right? Is it all just into a high yield savings account, or is it into other accounts? Like what, when you say savings, what does that actually mean to you?
Mm-hmm. Well, right now our savings is just basically in like a high yield savings account, and also just like our regular savings account, like the one that is joined to our regular checking account. But that's about it. I don't really want to make it complicated, because like what we're focusing on now is our emergency fund. So it's not really the money that we want to invest and grow, it's for our emergencies. So anytime we have one, I want to make sure I'll be able to pull it out, quickly. But yeah, that's it.
And
Nothing really complicated. I don't want to complicate,
yeah.
it's just savings.
I appreciate, yeah,
Yeah.
totally, totally. I'm sure everybody, yeah. I mean, it's really, again, because I think so many people are somewhat intimidated or don't think that budgeting is too much work. Like again, to your point, like it doesn't have to be complicated, right? You
Yeah.
just this is it, and this is what you're doing. With the
Hmm.
emergency fund, is that all being stored in a high yield savings account slash, checking, joint checking?
Hmm. Yeah, basically, we well, I guess with savings, I also want to kind of uh do like a quick note. Usually with savings, I think it's super smart to do something automatic. So what we do, usually we would put about 10% of our like paycheck directly into like our savings account. So we don't even see it every single paycheck.
Mm,
And we do that for like one of our regular savings account. And I rarely check that because it's automatic. I just set it and forget it. And because I do it that way, like every few months when I checked it, I would be like, oh, surprise money there. So I think that's one thing. If you want to build your savings quickly, make sure you set up a direct deposit for your paycheck directly into savings. So it doesn't even go to your checking account and you forget about it, but it's there. And the other thing that we are trying to do is just kind of like pulling some of those to our high yield savings account, even though we're not trying to grow it, but because it's a high yield savings account, it pays, like the interest is a bit higher than just the 0.001% or something.
yeah, exactly. I think,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the average, which is very interesting, right? Like the average, if you just keep your money in a standard checking account, I don't think that there's almost zero actual interest you gain from that. It's like
I think
zero
like a
one
penny.
point zero one or zero zero
Oh
one
yeah.
percent. And then with
Mm-hmm.
these high yield savings accounts, right? I think now they're the highest high yield savings accounts you can get, I think are zero point 0.4 to 0.5% APY, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
It used to
then
be like almost point 0.9.
yeah, I think
With
in 2018 or 19, I think there actually were like close to 2%, like like
wow.
2 point
Mm-hmm.
something. Like I know, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, and I think, yeah, again, I think that the interest rates were a lot higher, like with the Fed and whatnot
Mm-hmm.
back then, and so banks were incentivized to increase their interest rates. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
now it's just you're seeing record low after record low, and it's just you're getting again like zero point 0.4 and zero point 0.5, and previously it was, I think, a zero point 0.9 at some point, I'm sure. Um, but yeah, definitely, I remember back a couple
Mm-hmm.
years ago, it was like 2%, and I was like, whoa, this is really
Oh
it's
yeah.
intense. Um, but yeah, very cool. And before we go and talk more about your the net assets, I mean, is there something else that you wanted to call out here with with your monthly budget and monthly spending?
Actually, okay. I remember this. I think I was just thinking about it a couple days ago. Um, Usually with like my monthly setup, like the way you showed it here, when I need to maybe buy something one off, I would usually cut up my allowance or even sometimes grab just so I have more space in the budget to buy something that is more of a priority. But now because I have an emergency fund and I have like, quite a big chunk of money in savings, I don't even have to do that anymore because I can just grab it from my emergency fund.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like, sometimes people think that they need to, try and be super restrictive. But then if you have like another kind of like, when you work, like your budget is like your 9 to 5, but your saving is your side hustle. So like if your 9 to 5 job doesn't like, it's like, you need to grab some other money from somewhere else. Like your saving is like your side hustle, so like your extra money. Sometimes
Yeah.
you forget it, like I do too, but yeah, that's another point that I want to bring up. Like if you used to maybe cut off some of your allowance or your eating out budget, but if you have like a savings account, then you don't have to do that. You can just grab it from your savings.
Right. Totally. I mean, it's definitely a cool mindset shift to have. Like, you feel comfortable. Hey, like I have this things here if I need to go. I know Lewis from episode one said that he budgets in every year. He's like, I'm gonna put this money aside for like Christmas presents and whatnot. But
Oh
um,
yeah.
I think,
Mhm.
but again, if there are other things in the middle of the year, let's just say, again, you guys own a home, right? Like if something goes wrong or something, you need to fix something, call a plumber or whatnot. I'm sure those are like the one-off
Mhm.
times that
Yeah.
you're probably gonna have to pull from the savings, right? That emergency budget's an emergency budget for a reason, right? It's called that for a reason.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and yeah, I think the actually the one other thing I do want to mention is with the mortgage and HOA.